Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. We've got a triple play replay for you today, featuring a division consisting of, in the USS Burroughs, Starboy NA, in the Utrecht we have Cyber Viper 25, and in the Hanover we have Dragon MDK 187. We're going to be watching the majority of this battle from the perspective of Starboy here, because, well, he's in a destroyer, so it's a bit more exciting. And also because, minor spoiler alert, he ends up getting the most kills. But we will be switching to his two division mates where it's appropriate, particularly MDK in the Hanover, who is going to score the best kill I have ever seen in World of Warships during the course of this battle. Oh, and yes, it's the ocean map. Yeah. I can't remember the last time I featured a replay on this map. It doesn't pop up in the rotation very often because everybody hates it. Well, except a couple of people in this battle, apparently. There is one person on the enemy team who absolutely loves this map. I thought he was just being sarcastic at first, and then I realised he was in the aircraft carrier, and well, yeah, suddenly, yeah, that does make sense. This is an even worse map for cruisers in particular than the Tears of the Desert map. And the Tears of the Desert map is so legendarily bad for cruisers that it's unofficially known as the Tears of the Cruisers map. There's no islands on ocean for you to hide behind. Although, I don't know, that might be a bit of a blessing in disguise, because the thing that makes Tears of the Desert so bad for cruisers is those islands are just cruiser traps, because they look like you can hide behind them. But most of them are so, well, short, I suppose is the right word, lacking in elevation. The islands aren't tall enough for a cruiser to effectively hide behind them. They basically just turn into traps for unwary cruisers who don't know better. I suppose here on ocean, with no islands at all, you're never going to fall into that trap. But ooh, you really don't want to get spotted in a cruiser on this map if you can possibly avoid it. The thing is, the only way to avoid it on this map is to, well, not shoot at anything, which kind of defeats the purpose of pressing the battle button in the first place. Unless you're one of those cruisers that's lucky enough to come with a smoke screen, but, well, that only provides a get-out-of-jail-free card for limited periods of time, and as long as you're not within radar range of somebody. So, yeah, this map really kind of sucks. Which is the reason why it's not in the rotation very often. And yet some people do like it. Most of those people are in aircraft carriers. The friendly Libertad likes this map, by the way. Spoiler alert, he's going to get sunk by an aircraft carrier. That'll learn him. Anyway, the USS Burroughs. Relatively new ship. Pretty big by destroyer standards. That's because it's one of those new sort of heavy destroyers in the US Navy line, with 137mm guns. So not actually very heavy at all. You know, when you consider that a light cruiser is on with 152mm guns. That doesn't mean that these things are bad destroyers at all. They're actually pretty good. Larger caliber than your standard destroyer armament, and with an insanely fast rate of fire. I think this thing is something like 3.2 seconds. And also, it comes with semi-armor piercing ammunition. And high explosive. But it's the semi-armor piercing that is really these things' bread and butter. There goes the smoke. Oh, a couple of things to bear in mind here. As is fairly typical in a World of Warships replay, the scores are completely buggered. They've been flipped around. So that 300 points that you see the enemy team on, that's almost the most they're ever going to have. In fact, the enemy team are going to be spending most of this battle struggling to stay over 200 points. So minor spoiler alert. Isn't the spoiler alert supposed to go before the spoiler jingles? Well, yeah, but I'm crap. Oh, and also the matchmaking is up to its usual shenanigans. The enemy team have 2 radars. Guess how many radars Starboy's team have? Yep, none. They've got a USS Austin. It's an American cruiser, but it's one of the few American cruisers that does not actually come with radar. Because, once again, the World of Warships matchmaker is incapable of dividing by 2. And the matchmaking shenanigans don't end there, because while both teams have an aircraft carrier, Starboy's team actually have 2. They've managed to sneak a Kearsarge in under the radar, a hybrid. So, just your fairly typically balanced World of Warships battle here at what is technically Tier 11. And there's the first Blood Award to Starboy, North America, in the USS Burroughs, taking out that pesky Golden Lion. Told you, cruisers on this map, nowhere to hide. Surely a coincidence, Jingles. And then Starboy's team lose the USS Austin. I think I'm seeing a pattern starting to emerge. If you have to be on this map, be in an aircraft carrier. If you can't be in an aircraft carrier, be in a destroyer or a battleship. Because the destroyer, you popped the smoke just a little too late there. Took a big old hit and a double fire, so he immediately extinguished that. But the destroyer is basically, well, aside from submarines, the only class of vessel in this particular map that can actually hide from anything. And there's a second kill. And if you can't be in a destroyer or an aircraft carrier on this map, be in a battleship, because if you're going to get spotted anyway, you may as well be in something that hits back just as hard as it gets hit and has a repair party. Which seems like the perfect time to swap over to Cyber Viper in the Utrecht, already on his second dose of repair party and at 2/3 hit points, but scoring his first kill of the game, finishing off the enemy Sovietsky Soyuz there, and then spotting an opportunity, switching fire to the Seattle, which will be very, very good news, particularly for Starboy if he can take out the Seattle, because it's one of the enemy team's 2 radars. The Utrecht, fairly unique among Dutch cruisers, and it's a Dutch Atlanta. It has destroyer caliber guns, rather than the standard light cruiser 5-inch gun armament. And as you can see, the rate of fire is pretty spicy. If you look at the casualties in this battle so far, of the 5 ships sunk, of the 6 ships sunk, 4 of them are cruisers. Anyway, that was Cyber Viper's opportunity to shine. 2 kills in quick succession. The kill on the Seattle being particularly valuable for Starboy here, of course. Cyber Viper is starting to attract an awful lot of fire. He's down to less than 50% of his hit points. His healer's on cooldown and he's only got 1 heal left. So Starboy coming to the assistance here with the old smoke screen. And of course, because the Utrecht is an extremely light cruiser, it's actually got lower caliber guns than the USS Burroughs, it has a lower smoke firing penalty, so it's actually able to take better advantage of the smoke screen than the destroyer providing the smoke. And as Starboy claims his 3rd kill, with no signs of slowing down, Cyber Viper in the Utrecht is going to be taking advantage of that smoke screen and then chilling out for the rest of the battle. Hey, look at that, the enemy team are below 200 points. Do try to keep one eye on the scores during the course of this battle, because it does get quite funny from time to time, with the enemy team constantly averting an early end to the battle by being dropped down to 0 points, just by pulling a kill back at the last second and somehow still staying in the game. We haven't seen much of Dragon MDK so far in the Hanover, but don't worry, we will be switching to him soon. He is going to score the best kill I have ever seen anybody score in a game of World of Warships sooner rather than later, and it's not going to be his only one, but he has been having no end of frustration with the enemy carrier over there, with his shots either over-penetrating or missing entirely. No danger of that happening, of course, with Starboy's 137mm semi-armor piercing, and there goes the aircraft carrier too. Cyber Viper still taking advantage of this smoke, because he's in a light cruiser and he's on the ocean map and he doesn't want to die. Meanwhile, oh, we were looking elsewhere and we missed it. Dragon MDK just got a kill. Well, we're just going to have to switch to his perspective and see whether or not it was worth watching. Spoiler, it is. Well, there's nothing particularly special about this. This is not the kill I was referring to. He's been hammering away at the enemy shitro, desperately trying to finish it off. The funny button's active. The secondaries are focused. He does finally get the kill. His first kill of the match. The friendly Takahashi just went down. Immediately after he took out the shitro, guess what? Another cruiser dies. It's almost like this map is really bad for cruisers. We'll be back to Dragon MDK soon. For now, we need to switch back to Starboy, who's making this enemy Mecklenburg seriously regret his life choices. Oh, hang on. Emergency commentary alert, I've just noticed. Dragon MTK's on his second kill, which means we have actually missed the greatest kill ever in World of Warships. Well, we'll watch Starboy get his Kraken unleashed on the Mecklenburg, and then I'll go back in the timeline and find out exactly where that mysterious first kill was for Dragon MDK. The Shitro was actually his second kill. I'm just crap, and I missed the kill on the Blucher that immediately preceded it. The one that he's got his secondaries focused on. Watch this. This is amazing. This is right after Starboy nails the carrier. He's actually shooting at the Petro, but he's got the secondaries focused on the Blucher. Watch the Blucher's health bar. 2 hit points. 1 hit point. Secondaries knocked it down to 1 hit point. And then immediately followed it up with another 1 hit point's worth of damage. Blucher sunk by somebody inflicting 1 point of damage on him. And then followed it up by taking out the Petro. But we've already seen that. No reason to dwell on it. We need to head back to Starboy, who, right after nailing that Mecklenburg, has found himself at the arse end of somebody's smokescreen. Somebody who only has 1 turret and 2 guns shooting at him. It's the gearing, of course, because it's the only destroyer left on the enemy team. Do you remember the days when a mostly full health gearing used to strike terror into the hearts of a destroyer, forced to engage it in a gunfight? Yeah, that was a really long time ago, wasn't it? And it's actually Dragon MDK who gets the kill. Good job. That just leaves, by some miracle, there are actually still a couple of cruisers alive. I believe one of them might be lurking inside that smokescreen, which is of course not something that a Conqueror has the luxury of doing. I think, I can't quite remember the team lists, but I believe that's an enemy Incheon, which is basically a Pan-Asian Atlanta. Yes, it is! And not the kind of thing you want to be getting into a gunfight with in a destroyer when you've got less than 10,000 hit points. Smokescreen, Dragon MDK nails the Conqueror, which means the Incheon no longer has anybody shooting for him. Starboy is in smoke. The Incheon just ran out of friends and luck, and is almost... I don't think he's going to survive long enough to run out of points. Let me just put it that way. And there's Starboy's 6th kill and victory for Starboy, Cyber Viper and Dragon MDK in this, what is technically, I suppose, a tier 11 battle here on everybody's favourite map, Ocean. And hang on a minute, 6, 4, yep, 12 kills. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this division was responsible for the total, complete and utter destruction of the entire enemy team. And on that bombshell, that's it for today. Hope you all enjoyed it. I mean, I'm fairly sure you did, because that was awesome. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.